KBCI.blogspot.com, George Foster Rhymes on YouTube. I'm in Quitman in the city of Quitman in the county of Brooks in the state of Georgia. We just left a meeting wherein with the Honorable Civil Rights legend Tyrone Brooks, and we just interviewed people about their experiences with the G.B.R. and the voter registration here in Brooks County, along with the Quitman 10. And while we was getting ready to exit, we met a beautiful brother here. What's your name, my beautiful brother?
James C. Brown III.
Okay. And you were telling my beautiful brother, Tyrone Brooks, what were you telling him about your experiences?
The G.B.R., they came to my house, and I allowed them to enter. They started asking me questions. And so they had a copy of my voter absentee ballot. And they asked me, was that my signature on the ballot? And I said, yes. So I was wondering where they got the ballot from, but I never asked them that question. So then they asked me other questions. They asked me, did I fill out the ballot? And I said, yes. And I sealed the ballot, and I put it in the other envelope and sealed it too. And I asked them, why were they there at my house? Because there was no voter fraud going on at my house, because I was the one that filled out the ballot. And then they asked me who mailed it, and I didn't answer that question. And then they told me that I would be getting subpoenaed to court. And I told them that's fine. I'm represented by a law firm out of Atlanta. And then I asked them what their names were and their badge numbers. And the other one, the first one told me his name was Steve Turner, and the other, his name was Mark Crow. So
I'm familiar with Turner.
I asked him, I said, how do you spell your name? So he said M-A-R-K. And his last name sounded weird to me, so I asked him how he spelled his last name. He said P-R-O. And I don't know why he did that, because one of the other questions he asked me was I literate? Could I read? And I told him yes.
Oh my God.
And so I was, you know, things got I was a little upset, but I kept my composure. And I told him at one time that I don't know why they asked me these other questions, because they have nothing to do with the investigation. And there was no voter fraud going at my house, so they needed to go and find someone else to talk to. And that was pretty much the end of the conversation.
Okay, I have a question for you. What were your profession? What kind of job have you held since you left high school?
I went in the Navy right after graduation. And I got out of the Navy in '92, but I went into the reserves, and then in '94 I enlisted back into the regular Army, active duty, and I retired from the Army on March the 1st, 2010.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm currently a bail bondsman. I've never bailed anyone out yet, and I'm a city councilor.
Yes.
Just newly elected in November.
That's what I wanted. And I also want one other thing. I want to know, because I just read, and Mr. Brooks, I got this in your package there, wherein there's a federal judge that made racist comments about our president. And so out of all the 44 presidents, I think that the last one, President Barack Obama, received more negativity than any president in the history of this country. So I'm bringing that in because of you and what you've done. You serve your country, am I correct?
Yes.
But yet you feel, I mean, something with the G.B.R. and your voting, you over in foreign countries, by you being in the military, you could have gone to a foreign nation to die, right?
Yes.
On the battle line.
Yes.
Now, aren't you a disabled veteran? I think you, tell me about that, your disability. That's what I want on here.
Yes, I'm a disabled veteran, 80% disabled. Currently working on my 100%, and I've served 2 tours in Iraq.
In Iraq?
In Iraq.
Have mercy. And then for you to come here and to receive questions about voting and voting rights, that reminds me, if not you, of Jim Crow, back in the days when we had to count how many bubbles in a bottle of water, all these other crazy questions. So you are one person who know about the alleged G.B.R. intimidation, am I correct?
Yes.
All
and
right.
I consider that a travesty of justice, and all travesties of justice should be answered up for. And once they look into this, then that mistake can be corrected, and the Quitman 10 can be exonerated.
Okay, I want to know your personal opinion. We're going to close this out now. That takes care of that. And I thank you for your statement. But what do you think in your own words? Give me, I didn't hear this today. I want to hear one person to tell me, I'm going to step off and I want you to talk from your heart. How do you feel about the Quitman 10 and what happened to them?
Well, I've known most of the Quitman 10 most of my life. I grew up down the street from a couple of them. And they are just people. They are upright people in the community. I've never heard anything bad about any of them. And I just think that this town is still with the 60s mentality, if not before. There's no representation. The city is mostly black, but all of our leadership is white. The mayor is white, the chairman of the board for the county commissioner is white, the sheriff's white, the police chief is white, and now all of a sudden that we have blacks in charge, that's a problem. And I also wonder if they said there was a problem, there was a spike in the ballots, did they check all of the ballots, not just the ballots that were for the Quitman 10? Did they check the ballots that were voted for on the other side? Or it was a one-sided investigation? So I truly believe that the Quitman 10 has been dealt a bad hand, and I'll be glad when this is all over and they are put back into their positions, because I believe what the governor did was unconstitutional.
Yes, sir. State your name and position that you hold and your address one more time for us.
I am James C. Brown III. I'm a city councilman, District 1, Post 2. My address is 716 East Lafayette Street, Quitman, Georgia, 31643.
Do you remember the date that you were visited by the G.B.R. agents?
I do not remember the date.
You remember the month?
I cannot even remember.
What year was it?
I don't. I believe I wrote all that down on an envelope that I have, because after they left, I called the Department of Justice and I reported their names, and I think I had their badge numbers.
Was it before the Quitman 10 were arrested or after?
I believe it was before they were arrested.
Before they were arrested,
yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
This is kvci.blogspot.com, George Boston Rhymes, YouTube, Boston G.B.R. We do what we do because we want you informed. Once again, thank you, my beautiful councilman. May God bless you. Thank you, Brother Brooks.
How can you do me wrong when I'm doing you right? Baby, when I'm doing you right.
Now that someone is looking into the newspapers, they are looking to purchase newspapers for each one of these years, and they want to see how much information or publications was posted about Gordon, previous mayors, has been published about the current elected mayor, Mayor Ann Whipperloo. These things, I'm sure, will help probably in the future when people come in years to come to understand what took place here in Gordon, Georgia. This is the Ghetto Free Press. We do this because we believe you have a right to know, and you should know. After all, when we go into foreign nations and put our lives on the line, we don't fight as black and white, Democrat, Republican, Conservative, Independent. We just do what needs to be done.
But if I keep letting things go one way, and not going by the policy book, then something happens, then it falls back on top of me and it falls back on the city. So, well, hey, he wasn't going by policy. And but the employers, the way the law looks at it, was the daily practice is policy.
And just to say, and to make you, once more again, let me reiterate that this is policy that I'm practicing. No other, the bottom line is just policy. Policy for the city of Gordon that's been written in stone prior to my coming. And so I have to abide by the rules and regulations of written in the personnel policy until it's revised.
I understand
And thank
that.
you so much.
I understand that.
That's a good point. However, I wish the clerk had come to me and posed that question to me. Thank you and have a wonderful day. If she had the check, why don't she? Clerk, bring the check in here. If there's a check to be signed, please bring it in. If she has a check, why would she be holding the check?
Waiting on you to sign.
That was the first thing she should have brought in for me to sign.
Well, yeah, I've been here. I've had them ready yesterday because you told me to void them and start over. I've been waiting on you.
Clerk, hand me the checks, please.
Please sit here. I'm not letting these out of my sight again.
Please hand me the checks.
Sit right here.
Please hand me
You're
the
not going
checks.
to take these out of my presence again because you know what happened last time.
Please hand me the checks. What checks are those?
These are the replacement
checks.
checks. They're
Thank
not to
you.
leave my office.
Thank you. Wow. Could I possibly use your pen, Carly?
Because that's already cost the city almost $500 having to do that.
Excuse me, Susan, you're free to go.
She's waiting on her check.
Just stand
Just
up.
get
We'll
your
get
check.
it
Stand up in the
first.
lobby.
She can't have a check because it's not the bank.
Oh, excuse me. Clerk, would you please come over and look at this machine? It's not operating. Clerk Hopper, please. Thank you.
What's the matter? Jams?
Jam or stuff. Did you get it? These are not the payroll checks.
They're transfer check. I told you that earlier in the week.
These are not the payroll. The payroll is
That,
already
if you don't
ready.
sign that 3,000 payroll check, the library
payroll-
checks are going to bounce.
Just
And then you're
over
gonna be in
$3,000.
violation. One of their checks will bounce if you do not sign that check.
Okay, just go and have a seat.
No, ma'am, I'm not letting this out of my sight. No, ma'am. You done lost one set of us.
Excuse
Come on,
me.
Mike.
I will come in my office and I will sign.
We
the
will
check.
come in here with you.
And you are not allowed.
I'm coming in there with you.
You are not allowed in my office, clerk.
I want the checks back, ma'am.
You will get them back.
Come on, Mike.
You will, just stand right there.
I'm gonna sit here and watch you sign them and put them back in my hand.
Thank you.
I need my minute books.
Okay, let me say this. I have the minute books, and if you need them, you need to go in
Do
there.
you realize you're supposed to look at those in my presence too? I'm the official record custodian. I am responsible
Clerk
for
Brown,
those.
good afternoon. And would you please
I don't
leave?
think so.
Please exit my office, please.
It is,
You're violating.
they,
I am the official record. You're not even supposed to take these
it
out of my office.
wasn't as advised.
Those are the official
by
signed
the city
signature
attorney.
on there.
Now, leave it,
You're
leave
very
it running, leave
rude.
it running, leave it running.
And Mr. Rhines has no right to those records without open record
Please
request.
exit my office.
And don't forget you
Please
haven't done your,
exit my office.
But it is,
have not signed
we
your
was
checks
advised,
either.
they was advised, she was advised by the attorney.
the city
Please
attorney told me
exit
to
my
tell you
office.
that. You're violating the
Please
rules.
exit my office. Y'all are being insubordinate.
No, ma'am, you're being rude and disrespectful to your
Exit
employees.
my office, please. Thank
Okay,
you.
the attorneys will be contacted.
Thank you. Thank you, and so the mere fact of the matter is this is what I have to endure. And let it be known for the record that we will have to get someone in, a higher administrator to deal with this. The clerk is totally, the chief is totally out of order. And be it known today that I would like to have a copy of the record of this video or DVD to send to Judge Robert Reeves. Thank you. I'm not employed with her. The chief of police works at the service of the mayor, not the mayor works for the chief of police. Thank you.
Free press, and I'm in Meigs, Georgia. I just left Atlanta. I came through West Point, Georgia, then from there to Americas. I stopped by Smithville and talked to the mayor in that little small town. And now I'm here in Meigs. We were expecting a meeting tonight. I hear some citizens gathering here, and they say that there will not be a meeting. I don't know how that can be. They say there was a sign posted, even of the agenda. But now the signs are taken down, and the only way I can find out what's going on is to talk to somebody here in town. I told y'all there's something wrong in the state of Georgia, and we need the governor of the state of Georgia, Georgia Attorney General, the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp. Somebody must address these problems in these little small towns. But look. You don't have to listen to me. Let's listen to others. And once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm in the little small town of Meigs. We just looked on the door. I was told there would be a meeting tonight. I came from Atlanta by way of West Point, Americas, Georgia, stopped in Smithville to talk to the mayor there, and now I'm here in Meigs. I was expecting a meeting tonight, and I can tell you what the speculation may be from what I've heard on the street, but this is Mayor Linda Harris. We're going to let her tell you, as Paul Hart would say, the rest of the story.
Well, we had posted on the community center door that there was going to be a special call council meeting tonight. I spoke to Mayor Pro Tem LaVon Gassett and several of the council members, and they informed me that they could be here at 6:30 tonight. But I got a call from Mayor LaVon Gassett, and he stated that the council members, they said it wasn't enough council members who were informed about the meeting to be here, so he was canceling it. I tried to call him back and let him know that I had spoken to enough council members to have the meeting for tonight. He hung the phone up on me. I tried to call back thinking it was a bad reception. He didn't answer the phone, and I left a message, and he still hasn't gotten back with me. But these are the concerned citizens that's here, that participates in the council meetings, and they're here to have a council meeting that has been canceled. So I don't know what we're going to do to get some compliance. I don't know what state level we're going to have to go to get some help here in the city of Meigs. I've called everybody, from the senator to the commissioners, all the way up to the governor's office, and I can't get any help. They said it's an intergovernmental mess here, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of the problem, trying to resolve the problem, so far as to get my own attorney, like they told me that I had to get, being that our city attorney won't support me with these matters.
Madam Mayor, why do you feel, what's your comments about having to take money out of your own pocket to defend yourself on behalf of the citizens when I'm told you don't even get paid for the position?
Right, it's not a paid position. I came in knowing that I would be volunteering for the position. I put in a lot of voluntary time over the years anyway, so that part didn't really matter to me. I didn't know that I was going to have to fight this kind of fight. But yeah, it disturbs me that I have to go and get my paid money. Well, I've had help from the concerned citizens. That's why they want this issue resolved bad enough to help raise money for the legal fund to get this resolved, because they want to see our city go forth. And they elected me as the mayor, and they want to see me get over there very badly.
Okay, are you aware that in Gordon, Georgia, Mayor Mary Ann Whippaloo was removed from office for 60 days by order of a Superior Court Judge, Robert S. Can't think of his last name right now, but Reeves. He was removed, therefore circumventing the rights of the voters to have the person that they want to represent them. So as we look at what's happening to her, I understand that after 3 weeks of taking office over there in Gordon, Georgia, that she asked for an audit. And it seems like it's always the money that's creating the problems in these small cities. Now looking back with your situation, I have people on my YouTube. Here's a question they asked me about Meigs. They say, you are covering Gordon, but what is the update on Meigs? So would you give us a recap of what you have been through, short form, in terms of what you've been through? Have you been arrested? Have you received any trespass warning? Can you explain that to the people who want to know it? And there's no news media here to report it, so I got to report it.
Yes, I've been arrested, and in fact, this is my second time. I was arrested in April. In fact, it was April 19th. There was a warrant taken out on me on April 16th that I wasn't even aware of. There was a warrant taken out on me for my arrest for the previous administration. I've gone through turmoil. I've gone through my reputation being tarnished. The people that don't know me don't know what to believe. Only thing they believe is what they see on television, which is like slander. And I've been harassed by the city administration, and it's really just gone too far. Well, that's him. She's using his name. I'm going to ask that you don't use my family's name.
Well, okay, when you were in there on that Saturday.
That's been so long ago. No, we're not finished. Well, we don't have to go. If y'all want to stay in here, because from this point on, we need to be Nobody's saying here. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, did you second the motion? I second here. I don't think this is right. But y'all don't have to go because this is not right. Y'all can go ahead and voice your opinion. What we got to do, or y'all as citizens, got to stick together.
I've never seen a city council meeting operate like this
I don't
before.
understand how we allow the city attorney to control our meetings. They already, see, all of this was done without my say-so. He's not even our attorney. That's not an attorney.
He sent somebody in every time. Because you went to this meeting Saturday, and this is why he sent him, because he don't want to answer your question. There's a reason that he didn't come. That's right.
See, he already know what it is. He's doing double duty. But if I find out that he's at another council meeting and he can't be here, get rid of him. We need to have somebody that can represent us.
That's right.
Because Mr. Coleman, Attorney Coleman, is representing a lot of cities that was mentioned in the training on the weekend. So it's like double duty. He can't be with us for being everywhere else, but the money still rolls to his firm. Right. You know, we hired him. I don't even know that man's name.
I'm not satisfied with the way it's going, and I see most of you are. No, it's not right.
We're not satisfied. She don't give us any
But I mean, like when the mayor is in charge. The mayor's an elected high official. Amen. Isn't that right? Yes, sir. She's a high official, and they should give her respect. She won by a fair election, and they should give her respect whether they like her or not. But they turn around and get up and walk out and leave all us in here with a lot of questions that we'd like to ask.
Okay, so what's that telling us? They should motion to amend it. So y'all don't want to amend the minutes? Oh, no. Wait, what's my motion? I want to amend the minutes, the new business, because everything wasn't added. And I want to offer Officer Rawls a chance to approach the council about his termination. And also, there were some things, I had nothing to do, being the mayor, I had nothing to do with this agenda. I have no say-so in anything. So I want to amend the agenda with the new business so that I can have my say-so to the council, because whenever I go to the office to speak with Ms. DeMoga or any of the office staff, is that I'm hostile. I can't take care of business without Ms. Williams being up there. Like today, I've just been served a trespassing warning. It says on here that I can't even go to the city hall anymore, but it has this address as well. So had they had their way, I wouldn't have been in here either, I guess. But I just want to amend the minutes so that we can be heard today, because I think that we, as citizens and mayor, we need to be heard. So we have a motion. Do we have a second? This is the cooperation that I get on a daily basis with the council. I don't want to appear hostile, but I want the the citizens to know this is how it's done every day. It's a shame that the mayor don't have no say-so in anything. Ms. Williams, everybody else can come up there to the city hall, can run around there. Dorothy can put her folder in my face today and nothing be done about it. But I'm giving a trespassing warning, only because I was trying to see the bill for today. But this is the cooperation that I get. Either it's no cooperation or silence. You know, I can't operate. I was elected by the people to do work for the city. And I can't do anything. Every time I turn around, it's Mr. Mogul in my face. Because at first she was afraid of me until we made her city manager. Now she's all up in my face and walking all around me like she is not afraid of anything now. I cannot get anything done. I can't walk in the city hall without somebody saying, are you recording me? But from my understanding, the last council meeting we had, I was the one that was on the recorder. Then take for something I did at 4:30. But only thing I asked them to do today, LaVon, didn't I ask you for us to go and get some education so that we'll know how to govern by our charter, to do it the right way? I said, because we're gonna continue to look like fools. Ms. Dorothy Williams, Councilman Williams said, oh, you calling me a fool, you calling us a fool. No, I wasn't. I'm just trying to get the city back on the right track. But how can I do it if I'm not given a chance? I'm not given not a chance, a step of a chance.
Mr. Mayor, I understand that, and that's been hashed about numerous times. Council, they voted, I think it's part of the charter, we've gone through all that. I think it does no good for you to try to rally the crowd here. I think you need to go along with it.
No, I'm not trying to rally the crowd. Okay. Well, okay, since this is part of the new business, this is what I'm talking about. This is an amended 2013 budget that wasn't even brought to my attention. I don't know anything about this budget. This budget that I've been given today is like totals that don't jive with the Federal Banking Company, for one. Yes, it was an amended budget on 2013, but 2013, we had gotten a lot of money. We don't have that kind of money. So we asked Mr. Moga to get a statement and get a definite total of what we got in the bank. Well, no, that's not something that you do. That's a political step. That's a council step.
I'm not going to argue the issue.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
What's the problem, Nona? Why you can't get along with nobody? Everybody that's been over there, you can't get along with absolutely nobody.
No, that's a lie.
Well,
You cannot say that. I can get along with anybody. I was over in my
Why don't everybody
office
want to shut your eye?
because they want power. They don't want people to go and see the documents that they're doing.
Every time I go over there and ask for something, I get it.
Because you're who you are. And then she goes over there and she gets arrested because she's asking for the same documents. And I'm going to go ahead and I do have these documents that I asked for. Last month I was able to go in and look at the books. For the last, since it has been...
Madam Mayor, we can't go down that road because right now the motion is to discuss whether or not it grants you access to the office, your cell phone, and the computer.
Well, that's why...
all's on the floor.
Let's go ahead and discuss that because that's why I was wanting to amend it. You guys will see the copy so that it won't be speculation. We don't have to discuss it.
And when did
We don't have to discuss it. I will let y'all see the documents that was withheld from me and that were blackened out. We don't even have to discuss it so there won't be an argument. But I will let you guys see why Stephanie and I were kicked out and she was arrested.
Madam Mayor, that's not before the council at this time.
Okay. Okay, why don't we just, I want to make, put on the table to...
You can't do that, Mayor, until we finish the business that's currently on.
Because the reason why the access to the mayor's office cell phone computer was taken was because of this. And so in order to get this straight, you have to go through this. You're leaving out stuff.
You asked why did I lock the door and turn your cell phone on? I will tell you why. The simple reason is, ever since that I came on board, I've tried to work with you, but it's been total chaos. You have blocked every attempt that I've tried to run this city in a manageable way. All you've done is created chaos, etc. And after the incident with Ms. Battle, which I really hope you're responsible for her arrest because you enticed her to come to No. Bottom line is, I changed the locks on the door, I had your cell phone turned off, and I had your access to the computer removed, simply because you were making life difficult for everyone in my office. You have come in while I've not been there and complained to my workers in terms of the water bills, giving them a hassle because we didn't call people and notify them before we turned the water off. That's not the process. The process is on the back of the water bill that goes out that tells you that you have a certain amount of time to pay the bill. If it is not paid by that day, the bill will be turned off. You have come in and talked to people, complained because they wouldn't stop what they were doing to get up and walk in another room and get you a pack of paper for the copy machine. I can understand you are the mayor, but you know, when I have people doing work, I expect them to complete that work. And you've been a disruption from day one, and that's why I like it. So that's all I have to say. I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Well, you, Sid, you are standing there and telling a bold-faced lie. If the council can go back and get the surveillance film, it will show that you're lying, and Councilman Williams is up there at all times. So, okay, then there needs to be some kind of limit on the time that she can come up there. She comes and sits in your office every day. And that should be a bigger hindrance to you than me.
And
I'm not finished.
The purpose that she and Mr. Gassiton are to review the bills that are being paid and sign checks. That's why she comes there. And she does spend a great deal of time because there's a process that we go through for that.
Okay, so that's the part of the whole council. Why do you exclude the council? Because we've always examined the bills, all of us. Hasn't it been a responsibility of the council? That's what usually takes so long, doesn't it, LaVon? To go through the bills. So we try to go through the bills before the council meeting actually starts.
That's why we got a financial department.
And that's what the committee of personnel and finances that comes there and look at it.
So the council can look at the finances in the book. If anybody, you look at your charter, anybody from off the street, if they ask for some records, they can go in there and look at it. I've looked at records.
They can only get certain things.
Well, certain things, yeah, certain things, common sense, that'll tell you that. But my thing is, I'm the CEO of the city of Meigs, whether y'all like it or not, I am the mayor. And the mayor is being totally disrespected. If they would just give me the stuff that I asked for.
So let's talk about respect, Mayor, okay?
You are interrupting me.
Oh,
I don't interrupt you when you talk. Now that's hostile, because this is the kind of stuff that I'm just tired of. Y'all just stepping over me like I'm a rug. And in this book, in our charter, whether y'all want to go over it or not, it's in our charter. Those things that you're letting LaVon sign, he's to do that in the absence of the mayor, unless it is something dealing with the financial department.
And the only thing
I haven't signed anything since I told you that day I wasn't signing nothing else. I have not signed nothing.
And the only thing that he has signed since I've been here has been checks, and he signed one document on a block grant.
Before you got elected, it's the whole thing, a block grant.
Okay, and even still, I think when he signed that is because we didn't have an acting mayor. We had a mayor pro tem at that time.
But you
That's correct.
That's correct, right?
That's all I've done.
Okay, so all those documents, and I shall read it for you. But getting back, because this will take care, I'm not gonna go into detail about the petty stuff. We have an elected seat that I think is gonna cause a difference in this entire council and the operations of the city hall. So I'm easy to get along with. Whether y'all lie, you gotta know that God is watching you. And exactly, and that's why I walk in like he's watching me too. These things that y'all are doing is, it's just not right. But I'm not gonna make my blood pressure go up worrying about it, because y'all know y'all are wrong. And I am gonna, after the meeting, being the mayor, if I have to do it one by one, so that the council will know that we didn't do anything wrong, but ask for some documents, bank statements for December, that you did give me a copy of, but many of the pages were missing. And you also blackened out account numbers and the balances.
I did not.
That's correct. He did that because you can't take that out of the office. It don't need to be out in the public. You
Well,
look at it.
I was over in the building.
No, but you removed those documents because you currently have them now.
No, I removed the copies you gave me. You had already blackened them out, so what
But
good
you're
could
not
have done?
supposed to remove those documents from City Hall.
We have had documents, I have documents back before you got here. And we all do. If we look through our packets, we have documents, some bank statement documents. So things didn't change until you got here.
I'm just telling you what.
But, and getting back to the blue books, you know I've been looking at those blue books since you got here. There was a problem for December.
And what was that problem?
No, and I don't know what the problem was. You didn't let me see the blue books. Like, I would take them 5 at a time to my office and look at them.
Well,
but he came in and snatched them from me. This man has really humilitized me. He yells when I'm talking to him. He is the one, believe me, I have it on recorder. I do have it on recorder. And I will bring it to y'all like he does one at a time. I will let y'all hear them one at a time. Because I'm not going to tell a lie that's going to send me to hell, and I'm not going to lie for none of y'all that's going to send me to hell.
So, in terms of the way that you refer to your council members, so it's okay for you to call them Uncle Toms?
I can call somebody Uncle Tom if I want to.
And it's okay for you to refer to the council members as incompetent?
If they're incompetent, our actions up here shows that. You're not incompetent to every level, but you're very incompetent to your city government because we wouldn't be in this fix. But see, like I told you, and like I told Chief Price, y'all are happy about that because then y'all have the upper hand. Y'all have control. You love dealing with people that don't ask questions, that let you do what you want to do. I'm sorry, I'm not from that background.
So.
Once again, this is Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes, and this is YouTube. I'm still in Lumpkin. I didn't know this was the county seat. But anyway, what's your name, my sister?
Mona Hubbard.
Mona Hubbard?
Mona Hubbard.
Mona Hubbard, okay. I'm sitting here with Mona Hubbard, and she wanted to talk to me. She wanted to highlight some of the things that we can expect here in the city. Mayor Gibson told me that she would be a good citizen to speak, and that's why we're here. Tell me something about the city. Now, first of all, I heard that there's something that happened at the city with a city council member. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes.
And then the pastor showed me this newspaper and showed me that I think one of the people in there is you.
Yes.
Which one is it, right?
That's me right there.
Yeah, I thought right there. So in the headlines in the paper for my YouTube watch, it says, local NAACP calls for resignation of council member. Sworn statement alleges councilwoman Debbie Stone called Lumpkin mayor a nigger. You know anything about that?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about the city first, and then maybe you can go into lead up to what happened in the situation. Just tell us. We just need to know. And by the way, tell us everything, because it's not just Lumpkin. It's a lot of cities here in the state of Georgia that has the same problem. Let's talk to us.
Well, first of all, I grew up here in Lumpkin till I was 18. I was born here. I grew up here until I was 18 years old. I came back in 95 at 32. And even the difference between from when I left to when I came back.
You came back from where? Where you went to?
Well, I was a military spouse.
Okay, all right, okay.
So I traveled everywhere. So I was, you know, live with different people, all races and nationalities and everything. And it's, you know, coming back home to the United States.
To America,
see, yes, to America, to see this still going on. It's ridiculous. And even, like I said, I've been here since 95, and this is 2014, and it's just ridiculous. We've had Mayor Gibson, you know, to me is the best mayor that we've ever had here, and it's not because he's black. It's just he's just a good mayor. When he was a city councilman, if it was something that he didn't understand, he always questioned it. He never just went into a blind vote, and that's one thing I admire about him. That's why I voted for him. They expect for Mayor Gibson to come in and do something that has never been done. I mean, when the other people, when the white people that were mayor, because Mayor Gibson is the first black mayor here, and it's like he gets so much grief and like he's supposed to change the world, pretty much the way they do President Obama.
Right.
You know, it's not like things have not been messed up already, but they expect for the first black man or the black man to come and change the world. We had one mayor that was the mayor and the city attorney. Call out a conflict, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We had we just hadn't had anybody that was doing anything. And then when companies wanted to come in Lumpkin years ago, they wouldn't allow them. So in the process of not letting anybody come in, when Lumpkin did have something to offer, in the process it has gone down now. So now there's nothing here, and the people still fighting, don't want anything to come here. You know, we have people here that don't even want a library to come. Our kids in Lumpkin don't even have a library.
No library?
No library. You know, and they're fighting with Mayor Gibson because it was a building across. You probably take some pictures of the old Lumpkin Drugs. Now, city council voted to buy this building before they even got a building inspector. I mean, who buys real estate without getting an inspection first? You know, really? And I asked them about that. Who does that? So Mayor Gibson is trying to put a library down on Martin Luther King Avenue. It was a area where people used to hang around, but Chief Garcia and Mayor Gibson is cleaning up. So it's a nice area, and the area was donated to the city. And it's not only going to be a library, it's going to be a park and a you know, where the kids can go play and stuff like that. They don't have anything here. But this council person, this is not her first time referring to as black people as niggers.
Wait. Now you talking this Councilman Stone? Councilman
Stone.
Wow.
You know.
If it's not, excuse me, I got to join you, girl. This thing, I mean, I already know we had problems in other cities. Now, this is more of a reason why the governor and the Secretary of State and the Attorney General needs to be here. If not the federal government, right? Because you're dealing with civil rights here. So what else happened other than this incident?
Well, she has made the comment, and people have heard her saying that she grew up calling black people niggers. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know, part of the reason why she's an elected official is because us as black people, some of us did not vote. And of course, the majority rules. Right. Now that doesn't mean that she's qualified, because she's not. You know, as a council member that was before her, and it was a black man. He won the majority of the vote. She made a big deal for a recall because they couldn't prove his that he graduated. Okay. And pretty much they did that to disqualify him so that she could run. Okay. You know, and she's always trying to stir up trouble.
Well, now, when people say that when they see you talking like you're talking, they're going to say that you are playing the race card. Or that's what they accuse me of. But this is a incident report wherein it documents, and I will put this online, that she did use the word nigger. In here they say N-word, but we're getting down because it seems like we are returning back to the Jim Crow laws. I guess we got to use it the way it is. That's why I guess you spell it out and pronounce it. I mean, yes. And so what you are saying is not playing the card. This is
that's the fact.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And the thing about that is, the person that reported her was a white guy. Yes. You know, I can understand. We just got a new fire chief, and he doesn't know anybody here, so he don't know who's an ally or an enemy. So his duty is to report that type of stuff, especially by somebody that's a council. So he was put in a position. He did the right thing. He wrote a statement. That's a sworn statement.
Do you know that if anybody called the Civil Rights Division or anybody in Atlanta? Because for an elected official to do this, it seemed like that definitely should have generated some type of attention from some kind of higher authority.
Well, I know that our local NAACP has asked for her resignation. Right. Okay. And she would not accept the letter. Okay. Our Columbus News, it's been on the news a couple of times. She would not accept the letter. Matter of fact, it was on the news yesterday. Okay. And they even went by her house to get a statement, but you know, she wasn't available for a statement. And I would like to tell America to take off the blinders. I would like to tell Governor Deal and any of the people up there that we elected, they need to take the blinders off and come and see what's going on in their communities. Enough is enough, and that's it. We're not taking it anymore. We're not going to.
What's your name?
Georgia, Mel Georgia, from Warrenton, Georgia.
Okay. And when were you elected to that office?
I was elected in November the 5th,
Okay.
2014.
Okay. What's the population of?
Our population is, like in our city, it's 2100 people.
Okay. I have highlighted many problems in 11 cities, and you're one of the cities that we have noticed. So, short form, give us an overview of what you've experienced since you were elected to office.
Right now, I came in and been elected the citizen of Warrenton. I think we was one of joyful time because we want to change there, and then through my knowledge that after I was elected, I find out later on that the council and the previous mayor had went in and did a resolution, and they had took the mayor power. They were saying that they had came in and did a resolution on December the 31st, 2013.
As far as you know, since you've been in office, was that legal in terms of getting with the power brokers in Atlanta?
From my knowledge, no. Okay. It was not legal.
Okay. Something I found out with other mayors is that they took their powers. Some of them have gone into the court system. Family members have been arrested. Some of them have been put on a criminal trespass. Some of them are even afraid to come back in the city. Have you experienced any of that?
Well, I've been to court. They challenged my resident. They were saying that I didn't live in the place that I said I was living. And we went to court, and I won that fight there.
How long was that?
This was in April.
Do you consider your administration any different from the previous mayors that may have served?
Yes, I do, because the mayor that served there, they had power and they could do things, different things. I do not have anyone seeing that they're working with me, because in making a change, and a lot of the changes that you have to make, you have to change people, and you have to have people that are working with you. And right now, it seems that I don't have anyone working with me at this time.
Okay, so as mayor, do you feel like you have a council that are in opposition to you, or they support you? Before I came to Georgia, I've noticed that there's usually a professional level of camaraderie between the council members and the mayor, if not a high level of respect for the mayor. Can you comment on that as far as your situation?
Well, respect, I don't feel that I get that respect, because I have my council. It's something that I don't agree with them, that, my council will get up and just walk out of the meeting. If it's not their way, I feel that they just walk out. And even to the citizen there, I feel that every citizen, and there's a taxpayer and a voting citizen, their right is to ask what's going on with their funds in the city. And when we cannot see where our money is going, there is question. And right now, we cannot see it.
Okay, most cities that I've been in, and I hope that the top wheels, the governor and the attorney general will get a copy of this video. And what I've seen here in the state of Georgia, it seems like all of the problems, most of the problem, is centered around the access of invoices, bank statements, the budgets, and the money. Would you say the same thing exists in your city?
Well, some of the things I seen there, I'm trying to get an upper hand on, even with our PO numbers, you know, a purchase order number. And I'm trying to get my council now the reason where we can see where our money is going, instead of just bring it in a piece of paper that's saying that they spent this amount of dollars certain places, and they don't have a purchase order on that. I think if we could look at our statement and find out where our money going, then we can use it more wisely that way in our city to help our city grow forward.
Okay. On February the 6th, 2015, I had just left Morris Bank in Gordon, and I was referred to by a group of whites. One was a city council member, I won't call his name, but I was called a nigger twice. Have you experienced any racial overtones? I know in, for instance, Lumpkin, Georgia, he has. So do you have that, or is it subtle, or is it not at all prevalent in your opinion?
Well, I have had those calls when I wanted to be mayor at the house that my daughter lived in, and I tell them don't answer the phone at this time now because my business is there also too. And I got phone call, nigger mayor and stuff like that, you know, calling all times of the night, you know, and threatening calls, they have been made, yes.
George, do you feel like the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, Attorney General Sam Olens, Governor Nathan Deal, or any of the civil rights organizations have stepped up to the plate to assist you with what you're going through there in your city here in the state of Georgia?
No, because every time I reach out for help, the first thing I get, you don't have to get you an attorney. And in a small town like that, you know, we don't have the fund, and because the city attorney is not working with me either. So I don't have the fund to just, you know, $10,000 or $20,000 to pay an attorney to defend the city of Warrenton. I would love to do that.
Do you think that what you have gone through may have just hindered blacks from coming out to vote during your election?
Oh yeah, because that's some of the things that some of the blacks say that when they come to city council, African America, you know, they come there in the council, you know, disrespect them and, you know, make them feel loyal and not loyal to anything. So now they get to a point that they don't want to come out because they are talked down, you know, and I think that's unjustly unfair to them. You know, I think every citizen should, you know, be able to speak their opinion, you know, voice their opinion to the people. And as the mayor, and I want them, my policy is I have an open policy that you can come in and talk to the mayor about any situation. And we have had several situations that's what they do. They feel that they can, but when they come to council, they get shot down. They'll tell them they can't speak, or they'll tell them that you need to put it in writing, or something like that. You know, but in previous time, the only thing you have to do is just sign in. You come in and speak.
So do you feel like some impediments are put before you simply because you are black?
I feel that way.
You do? Okay. If you cannot get anybody from the state level to come into Warrenton and take a look at what you're going through outside of your attorney that you have to pay for, what are you to do?
Nothing. I just pray to God that God send a miracle our way, send it to Warrenton. Not only just in Warrenton, all over. And I, like you had said earlier, I feel that, you know, I'm not the only one. I know a lot of other mayors that I met them do Mayor Day, and I was in Atlanta, and I had to eventually pay that out of my own pocket, but finally I got reimbursed after we went to court. But other mayors and other part of the state having that same issue, and I feel that if I have to come out my pocket to offend myself and offend the citizen of Warrenton, that's what I would do. You know.
Okay, I don't want to draw it out too long, and the reason I'm asking you so many questions that I probably would not ask some of the other mayors is because many of the other mayors, I've been to their council meetings, I have a lot of their information already documented. And so excuse me if I ask you a little bit more questions,
yes,
okay? What is the procedure for getting open records information from your city? What will a citizen have to go through to get that information?
Well, we have been told that they just should just come up and ask the clerk, and the clerk will give them no records.
Have you had any citizens who have had trouble getting?
I had some that they'll say that they would ask them for records, and they'll tell them to come by the office, and then when they go by the office, they're not ready. They have to keep coming back and forth to the office.
And I'm sure that you're aware of the handbook that the Georgia Attorney General put out about sunshine and open records. You're familiar with that handbook,
Yes,
right? What do you think about that, the procedures for the people who voted you into office, and in regards to what is in that book for getting information about the city governmental operations?
I feel that they've been violated, from that rule book of sunshine, because some of the meeting they have that we're not aware, even the mayor is not aware of some of the meeting that they are having. Because even like when we went to court, they had a meeting immediately after the court days and did some moving around funds and stuff, and it wasn't even posted.
So you are telling me something that I have already videoed from other mayors, and that is that you're left out of some of the procedures of the city governmental operations?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that's right?
No, sir. I know it's not right.
Okay, we're going to end this. I'll come back to you, but I want to leave you by asking this question. If you was going to ask anybody in this country for some assistance, who would be that person you would ask, and what would the question you ask them?
I would ask our state attorney, will they send someone to Warrenton to take a look at the things that are going on? Not just take me on my word or no one else. Please just come in and investigate. Because I feel that it's unlawful right now what's going on.
I have said, excuse me, give me your name and what city you are the mayor of.
Linda Easton Harris, and I'm the mayor of the city of Meigs.
Okay, I've visited Meigs, unlike Mr. Ivy. I have been there and I've recorded. But today, I just want you to tell us what you've experienced since becoming mayor. When did you become mayor, by the way?
I was elected November 5th. I was sworn in January 2nd.
Okay. And so just tell us a little bit about your experience since you took office.
Okay, it hasn't been a good experience. As, like I stated, I was sworn in January 2nd, and sworn in agenda number 3. On agenda number 4, I was ousted out. And short council meeting, I went the next day and I sought legal counsel, and several attorneys told me they didn't think that was the proper thing to do. They thought that the charter had been violated, and we found out it had been violated, so they had to give me the keys to the office. On that day, I went in January 3rd about 2 o'clock, and the employees who were there still didn't want to give me the keys, but they, had to be forced to give me the keys. And the ladies that I hired in there to help me with administrative daily operations, they actually turned on me in about 2 weeks, and it was like financial situations. After we found out we didn't have as much money as we thought we had from previous misappropriations of funds, I told them, well, I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to be able to pay y'all the rate that we had agreed to pay y'all. And from that day on, it was a turnaround, because people don't want you to bother their money. So the lady I hired as the city clerk, she spoke to the city attorney, and the city attorney advised her on how to get with a council who didn't vote for me anyway, and to take my powers away from me. And that happened February 6th. They had a private meeting, one-on-one meeting. And on February 10th, that Monday, they were having a meeting to take my powers away by ordinance.
Now, when you say February the 6th, now, if that was an illegal meeting, did anybody notify the state representatives, since they profess that they want open meetings and sunshine laws?
No.
Nobody said anything?
Nobody said anything.
But even after you identified that something was wrong, and you did notify somebody in Atlanta, am I correct? The representative, the senator, something like that?
Yes, I immediately found out who our representatives were, and called Sam Watson, and had a meeting with him, and he was to look over the charter, and then he got with our representative, Jay Powell, and don't know exactly what happened. It wasn't any results, however. Then I called Atlanta. Reached out to Sam Olin's office and also to Governor Deal's office, and they tell me that what we have in Meigs is an intergovernmental mess, and that I'm going to have to get me an attorney. So it's been over a year now, and I'm still fighting it, still being forced to have my office, in and out of office, powers taken.
Okay, when you say powers taken, did they take those powers with the approval of the state of Atlanta? Because I think that whenever they change governmental law, whether it's a strong mayoral type government or city manager, I thought that the state of Georgia, you have to go through a process. You just can't do it arbitrarily.
Well, you have to go through the state legislators, and what I'm dealing with, however, is an incompetent council. They don't know that they're supposed to do that, and I've advised them that that is the procedure. But with them getting illegal advice from our city attorney, they feel that they're doing the right thing. But no, they haven't gotten any kind of. They think they can do it by local act, and it's clearly in the state law that you can't do it by a local act, nor resolution, nor ordinance.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same question I've been asking some of the other mayors. How do you feel that they are treating you as a mayor among your own council?
I'm totally being disrespected. I have the city clerk, city manager, the council. They'll come in and they'll tell me, Mayor, you don't have power to do this. And I've had the new city manager to come in and snatch bank books away from me as I try to look in them to make sure that everything has a paper trail. And they've given him the authority to do the mayor the way he wants.
In one meeting that I attended, correct me if I'm wrong, even the attorney seems to be against you, or the previous attorney. Explain a little bit about your attorney situation in Meigs.
Yes, the attorney is totally against me. And actually, he's the one who started this. He's the one who advised them on how to get the council, how many council members would have to vote to take my power. And he wrote up a bogus ordinance. And on the ordinance it's giving me probably about four different sets of powers. But the executive powers I don't have. And that's what he wanted them to do anyway, because he knew that I was going to change some positions and titles within the office because it wasn't being administered correctly.
Is it in your written documents of your charter that a person who governs in the city of Meigs, do they have to live in that city?
They do.
Have you ever had it wherein someone might have served in your city and they did not live there? If so, who was that person?
Well, actually, our city manager, when we had a city management form of government before the strong mayor, the city manager had to live within the city. Didn't have to live in the city before he was appointed, but after the appointment, he has a certain amount of time to move to the city. And none of our administrators live within the city of Meigs. Nobody who works in our city hall lives in the city of Meigs.
What about the chief of police? What about the police department? Do you get support from them, or how do they interact with you as the new elected black mayor?
Well, the chief of police that I hired in and I appointed to that position, the previous city manager who resigned, she terminated him because he supported me. And then after that...
What was his name?
His name was Edward Ross. And after that, the council had, I guess, an interview session that I wasn't invited to. and they hired the chief of police that she wanted to hire, and I guess he was instructed not to say anything to me, not to talk to me.
So there's hostilities, or there is dissension among you and your law enforcement chief?
Yes. And not that I choose for it to be like that, but it's like they feel that with this power struggle, but as I've informed them, I'm not the one that's trying to take advantage of my power. And but what their problem is, they're wanting the power. They want to do what, when, and how they want to, like it had been done. And they know that I want them to be accountable for their actions, and paper trail with everything, and they don't want that.
Because I'm kind of familiar with your city there, but I do want you to say to the people who hear you, they probably would like to know what's your salary as the mayor of the city of Meg, since didn't you have to go to court?
I did.
Okay, and you've been given a couple trespass warnings, I believe.
I have.
And I believe your mother became sick or ill. We don't know what could have contributed to that. Right. And you've been sick yourself. But my question to you is that, where do you think all this going to end?
I hope it soon ends. Well, the first time I was arrested, it was on a defamation of character and stalking charge. The previous mayor, she thought that that was going to be a way for me not to be elected. And then after I defeated her, it even got worse. She tried to get the administrators to keep me from going into the office, but I've been exonerated from those charges. And then by April of last year, the new manager that I hired, she said I threatened her, and all those charges were not prosecutable. They didn't. It was like 16 months, and they didn't have enough. After all those months, they still couldn't come up with any evidence that I was guilty on any charges, so it was thrown out.
Okay, I have seen, since I've been doing this for over a year, I see the same identical thing happening to other mayors, black mayors, and I understand I got a phone call from a white mayor, and so it may not all be about race, it may be about change. Mm-hmm. There may be a possibility that people have been locked into a system of not following the law for so long until they think that that's the way it should be carried on. Now, I understand what got me over in your area, and I'm going to back up a little bit further. What got me in your area was that I read and saw on TV in the Valdosta area something that took place in your in City Hall about you and some voodoo and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go into it that much, but that was also false. Am I correct?
That was false. Yes, and even one of the city clerk who worked in the office with me, she explained that there was some kind of reversal stuff that she even had in there. It was supposed to get away evil spirits, and it just got twisted some kind of way.
Okay, now I don't want to leave you because there's at least 4 more points I want to hit. Number one, because Mayor Ann Whippaloo of Gordon, Georgia, have had a Superior Court judge to try to totally just remove her from office, circumventing the votes of the voters in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So have you ever been removed from your office? Have you ever been locked out of your office, or anything along those lines?
Well, they've tried to remove me, but I know, and they know as well, that the elected people will have to remove me unless I've violated some of the reasons for this for removal. They can't remove me. But they have locked me out of my office, taken my computer, my phone, taken all that stuff away. And at one point, at the beginning of last year, I couldn't go in the office because the previous manager was still working there, and she had taken a warrant out on me, so I couldn't be around her. But she resigned. I had some supporters that, just told her that, hey, look, we want our mayor in here, and you got to go. And I've heard a couple of things about why she had to leave, because they got so mad, they followed her and told her don't come back to our town anymore. But anyway, that was the first time, but I've been taken out of my office twice. The most recent one was 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
That's the one I came over on. And I understand your newly elected city council, Miss Bradley?
Stephanie Battle.
Stephanie Battle. Mm-hmm. She's new to, how long has she been in office?
She's been in office since May of last year.
Okay, so it seems as if though it just don't stop, huh?
It doesn't stop. And anytime a council member or the mayor is trying to make them accountable and ask questions of why you're doing this, why you're doing that, let us see this, then there's a problem. Okay. And the reason why she had issues with them is because her and I we had planned a meeting to look over December's transactions, and apparently something's going wrong. They don't want something, they're guilty on something, they didn't want us to see it. And she went in there after some things had been redacted that the manager had given me. She found out, she saw it, and she went in there to ask for the missing copies and copies of things that hadn't been blackened out. And the manager told her, well, I told the mayor she wasn't getting it, and you're not getting it either. And then the police chief came in there, and he says, Sid, if you tell me to arrest her, I'll arrest her. And that's what happened.
Okay. Well, how was this new chief elected? I mean, how did you all come about getting him, number one? And then I want to go back to Ross.
Well, he was elected by a three-party committee, by the police committee, the chairman and two other council members. It never went before a quorum to appoint him as the city chief. And from my understanding, anything that goes in that's law to the city has to be signed by the mayor. And the mayor, I haven't signed anything. So I didn't hire him as chief. And at one point he wanted me to swear him in, and I told him that I was going to get with the council on that. And to this day, I don't know who swore him in.
So once again, we see that Georgia seems to be a state without laws.
Right.
Now let's get back to Chief Rawls. I met him. First of all, before we get to him, Jimmy Layton, who is a white brother. I've noticed that he supports you. In fact, when they locked you out of your office, he said to me, and it's on camera, that Mayor Linda Harris haven't done anything wrong. Mm-hmm. Who is he?
Jimmy Layton used to be our chief police. He served as our city manager at one time, our public works supervisor. He knows the city very well. He knows the rules, the ins and outs. And he knows that what I was doing, it was right. I hadn't violated any rules, or I hadn't violated any constitutional laws. So he does support me, and he's actually running for city council because he's just tired of what's going on.
But what was his title previously?
His title with the city?
Yeah.
He was chief police, and
for how many years? 3?
No, he was with us about 20 years.
What kind of job did he do?
What kind of job?
What type of job? What kind of chief was he?
Oh, he was great. I mean, he got along with the citizens there, interacted with us, and if there was something, he even took it upon himself to, go to funerals, to come by barbecues and stuff. He just kept it very pleasant.
Did that former chief also insist at public meetings, as well as concerned citizens, that the former chief, Ross, I think it was, that removed, that he should have had a hearing,
yes,
that the city should have listened to him? He stood up for him, am I correct?
He did.
Well, did you and the council ever get to hear from former chief Ross concerning his firing or termination?
No, not as a complete council, we didn't. So, they never gave him the opportunity to have a hearing.
But he had support of the community, am I correct?
He did. In fact, they had a protest about it, a huge protest for like 2 days.
Okay, as we get ready to bring this to a close, what got into your city? Wait a minute. How did metal detectors get inside of city council meetings? I mean, did something happen for them to scan you before you come into the meeting? They always do it. I'm just asking the question because I get scanned when I go. I just want to know, where did that start?
Well, it started last year. I think before I was elected as mayor, the previous mayor thought that she was, her life was threatened or something. She said in the paper that she had to have bulletproof vests, and that's something that was implemented during her time, just for safety. And I really don't have a problem with that, with everything happening now at the council meetings. But yeah, they're checking.
Now, what about the compliance with the Sunshine and the Open Records Law? I have been there several times, and they have a sign posted. You have one of them with 70-some people outside, and there was a notice posted saying there will be no council meeting. And I think, did you know anything about that?
I didn't know anything about it, and on that particular day, we had the sheriff Powell from Thomasville there, and he was very upset about it. But they didn't even let him in. But I'm quite sure there were consequences and repercussions about that. I don't know about it, and from my understanding, there's a police investigation.
Okay. Now, if you had an opportunity to call anybody in the state of Georgia or in the United States, who would you call and what would you ask for?
Well, this thing that I'm going through is very big. I wish President Obama could be here, but he's tied up. Just want whoever's going to come down here and get some results. Go in, do an investigation. There are several analysts that we can get to go in there and to make them accountable. For everybody to get together, be on one accord, know their role. Because we have council members that don't know their roles. They're overstepping their authority, and some act like the mayor, want to be the mayor, but they will never be the mayor because, people are not going to elect them as the mayor. But anyway, that's their way of being in there, trying to have the power. And if people wonder why everybody's talking about power. One thing about the mayor comes with power. When I ran my campaign, I ran a campaign knowing there was a strong mayor, weak council form of government. And I felt that with my honesty, my integrity, that I could go in and I thought I could change it. But whenever you get the devil into a situation, it's kind of hard to remove him when you've got, several people against you.
Okay, once again, I want you to refresh the people's minds who watch this video. How much do you get along the lines of a salary from Megs?
Well, I stepped in knowing that it would be a voluntary basis. I didn't know that me stepping in on a voluntary basis, knowing that I had another pretty good paying job, that I would later on lose my job there because I was arrested. And but yeah, it's on a voluntary basis, and right now
I want you to tell me in dollars and cents how much do you get every month for the work that you do and all that you have endured as far as your family being under stress, etc., as well as yourself. How much money do you get paid every month in dollars and cents?
I get $0.00.
Some people would call you crazy for that.
They would call me crazy. They said, why don't you resign? And after a couple of months, after I had been arrested, I'm like, why should I resign now? I've gone through, I felt like Martin Luther King. I know how he felt. I know how President Obama is feeling right now. Totally being disrespected by your colleagues, people are supposed to be supporting you.
Okay, do you feel that race plays a part in what you're going through?
I wish I could kind of say that it's race, but no.
It's not race.
It's personal vendettas, jealousy that the council members have against me, because I have to look at the fact that only one of the council members voted for me anyway. So they had something against me as I was going in. They knew, they had a plan.
My last question, again, what is the population for Megs?
It's about 1,200.
What percentage of black ratio versus
probably
white?
85.
85 black? 85%?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to close on?
I can give you exactly how many if you want.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good afternoon, mayors. Why are you all here today?
We base it here that we met a year ago in Atlanta, Georgia, at the mayor's conference, and I got to meet these other mayors, and we start brainstorming and find out that we have similarities, the same problem in our city. So we come to try to come together that we can help each other out in our cities, and maybe we can bring something to the table that will be benefit to each one of our cities that we have here from.
Okay, great. Thank you. Will you please state your names and what city you represent?
My name is George Ivy. I'm representing the city of Warrenton, Georgia. I am the mayor there.
Hi, I'm Mayor Mary Ann Whippaloo. I'm mayor of Gordon, Georgia. And my purpose for being here today is, like Mayor George Ivy said, is to basically network and brainstorm and bring together ideas of how we can interact and listen to each other and find out what's going on and how we're able to network and reach out to our legislators, our senators, our state representatives, our attorney generals, and the governor of the state of Georgia, and to let them know that I'm not the only one. I am my brother and my sister's keeper.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Linda Easton Harris. I'm the mayor of the city of Meigs. And as the other mayor stated, we're here to network. We're here to share the similarities that's happening within our city so that we can get with leaders, our House leaders and senators and attorney generals, so that they can know the problems that we're having so we can get them resolved in a positive manner.
Good afternoon, mayors. What is the financial status of your cities?
Well, our financial status is not that great, and the reason why it's constantly declining is because the people that run the day-to-day operations get good salaries, and I can't mention what they get, but we're running very low, having to transfer monies from one account to the next account just to keep us from going bankrupt. And I think that if they were to reduce the police departments, the amount of polices that we have, and also cut salaries and maybe release some of the workers within the city hall, then we can bounce back on our finances. But right now, we're very low.
Thank you, Amanda.
As far as the city of Gordon, I must say that we have not had our physical audit, and from that, I cannot tell you exactly what's in the city's budget, because until that's done, there's no way I can tell you.
Thank you, Mayor Ivy.
Yes, and right now we have did our fiscal year, and our mill rate had to go up because we was losing out citizen that we apparently we have there. People's moving out from our city, and that's where our revenues come through. A lot of our departments coming through the people that live there, and that's one of the things. Me being as the mayor, I was want to bring some changes to try to keep Warrenton above. And right now that we're losing our citizens, they are moving to different other cities because we have nothing to offer. And one of the greatest things that we have that in our city that the people want to come together, they want to change, and I think that's why they elect me to be their mayor. That way we can have a change. And Warrenton is a beautiful city, and we have beautiful people there. We just need a change.
Thank you, Mayor Ivy. Now, one of you have mentioned that you have not had your financial audit. So, with you other two mayors, dealing with your budget, have you received your financial audits?
No, I haven't received. I was in Warrenton, we have not received it at this time.
Well, we've had our audit, and our audit showed that our city is in a lot of trouble, and we've had the experience of, you know, having totals being thrown at us that were, you know, bogus. They were not what was on the paper, So we're just, I mean, that's what I want, like I said, that's what I want, us to be accountable for our financial situations, and so that we can, so that whenever the auditor comes, they won't have problem finding things, because our last audit, it took them almost 6 months to track where different accounts were and such things as that. And right now, we're operating on a budget, a 2012 budget, that was like $500,000 when we're working with about 10,000.
So why do you think your particular cities are fighting having an audit in place, or really just not getting the books in place, in line? Why are the city lawyers fighting you? Because I know that some of you stated that you're having opposition with the city lawyers.
Mm-hmm. I can say for the city of Gordon, since I was elected, and we have 6 council members, and after being sworn into office, before you can transact business, you need to know what you're working with. And I came forward and announced to my council that I wanted to have an audit done. And listening to the constituents, my constituents of the city of Gordon, well, they had said not only did we need an audit, but we needed a forensic audit. So I made council aware and was given a go-ahead and select the auditors, and also give bid. And so upon doing that, after selecting the auditor, well, council decided then that we had 5 in support of the audit, but one council member told another council member, why would you vote for an audit? And if you voted for the audit, in support of that audit, you are a disgrace to the white race. You need to paint your face black. Because if I go to jail, you're going to jail too. What is that? What kind of message is that sending? That's showing that the books are not accurate. And so I've asked to have this audit done, and because of that, now I find out since I've become mayor that there was a request that I needed to have presented an engagement letter. Well, after investigating and seeing how Gordon operates, I've not seen any engagement letters brought forth by any other of the auditors that have done audits for the city of Gordon.
Thank you.
And mine is that I asked for the audit, and I put it on every one of my agendas, that I'm constantly asking for them every month, and I cannot receive the audit. My council will not vote for those. And I feel that that's the only way that I can see where the money's been spent, and where we can do some cutting, and where we can add to our city for the city to grow. But without knowing what kind of income or what I have to work with, I cannot have the city to grow. And that's one of my main focus is to being as mayor, to making a change, that you have a place that people be pleasant to come to want to live in Warrenton, to bring business and bring into that city.
And may I interject that that's what Gordon is experiencing, the same each time that the audit is placed on the agenda, it's always voted down. Right. There's 3 normally for the audit, and 3 abstaining. And so by the charter, it takes the consensus of 4 council members vote in order to pass it.
So what type of mayorship do you have, strong or weak?
My council is strong mayor with a weak council.
And I am also too a strong mayor. Also,
I'm a strong mayor, weak council.
Okay, so what are the difficulties that you all have faced since you've been elected into office as mayors in your cities?
Well, my biggest difficulty is the fact that they just want to keep all information from me. When I was elected as the mayor, my understanding is I'm supposed to go in with the city hall to find out what our standings are, financially, so that we'll know what we're working with. If I don't know what we have that we're working with, that's just like a family budget. You have to know what kind of monies you have coming in so that you'll know what you can let go out.
Right.
And but they feel that I don't need to be in there to know anything about the city government at this time.
Thank you.
I feel like, let me interject and say that we're all riding the same horse, or as the saying goes, we're piggybacking off of the same horse, because what they're saying is exactly what we're experiencing. First of all, I have a clerk who is not working with me, who's totally against me. I have a city attorney who we let go with the new administration, only to have the judge reinstate him, and the judge have me removed twice since being elected by the voters, and had me removed with the stroke of a pen. And it's only because I've asked for accountability of the monies. And just as Mayor Harris has stated, that without an accurate account of the monies, you don't know what you have to work with. And that's where we are.
And that's likewise, again, we are on that same boat and on that same horse, riding there. I do not know, and I'm asking my counsel to work with me. I'm asking them for my first issue was there. The word was that Mayor I was going to get rid of everyone ready to get here. Not once I let someone left, because they know their job, but they're not doing their job. And my whole thing is that to move the city forward, I need someone that's going to be working with me, not hiding paperwork, not telling me what's going on. I want you to be accountable for what's going on in the city.
So were the previous mayors subjected to the same rules or the same treatment?
My response to that question would be no, because as a matter of fact, my council members, and not only council members, even staff came and stated to me that the previous mayor had told them, the chief of police and the city clerk had told me that the mayor told them that he could fire them even up until a minute before my being sworn in, that he had the kind of power to remove them. And I tried to assure them that I don't micromanage, and let's come in and let's work together. And so since that, they've been doing just the opposite. They've come in and presented nothing but opposition. The clerk, I don't have the police protection. Right now, I'm in fear of my life.
And I've experienced similar issues as Mayor Ivy. I was told that they heard that I was going to fire everybody, but actually they didn't give me a chance to fire them, terminate them, because they resigned. But, and even with that, some of the people resigned, same people resigned, turned around and sued the city because I terminated them. And no figure on that.
Excuse me, Mayor. Why are you scared for your life?
I think Mayor Whippaloo was...
Because of the accusations that's been, the statements that have been made. Number one, I was told all we black folks are good for is creating trouble. I've had my car scratched. And now the clerk came in just this past Friday and stated to me, and if I didn't know any better, she is running the city, telling me, directing me that I will sit in a certain seat and sign a check. And I will sit there and she will observe me doing it. So what I did was nicely asked her for the checks and went to my office and signed the checks. And with the chief of police following her, and I said, excuse me, you all you're given an excuse to leave my office. And they both stood there and said they were not going anywhere. And didn't leave. So totally insubordinate, totally disrespectful. I've got the concerned citizens who are outrageously acting inappropriate. They're going around making statements to in the city, calling constituents niggers.
Now, Mayor Lou, we know that you went to the Supreme Court of Georgia recently. How did that go?
Well, I can't give a stance on that. I can only say go to the Georgia Supreme Court and Google and see it for yourself. The date is January 20th, 2015, and watch the oral arguments. And from that, the justices have not made their decision. They stated that it would be within 4 to 6 months before they would give their ruling.
Madam Mayor, Whipperloo, you also have gone before another judge, am I correct? How many times have you been going? What did you go before these judges?
Yes, I was, the first hearing I was not present. That was to have me removed from office. The judge used a stroke of a pen to remove me. That was in June of 2014. I'd like to say, before my being suspended, almost 3 weeks into office, I was accused of discrimination by 4 of the employees, stating that I had said that I was going to fire all the whites and hire all blacks. So the EOC settlement agreement was settled, and yet later to follow up, a group of concerned citizens wrote the State Attorney General stating that I had violated open records and open meeting violations. That was not substantiated. I met with the Assistant Attorney General Stephen Ritter, came to my office, and it was set up by my city attorney at that time, Joseph Boone, before his removal. And so the Judge Robert Reeves came back and had me removed again back in July. So I was reinstated in August of 2014. So I've not had time to really run the city because of these bogus charges.
There was another charge that you was found not guilty of.
Yes, a postal worker, employee by the name of Kelly Robinson, accused me of threatening to, I guess, making terroristic threats to take her life. And I was taken before the judge, and all charges was dropped, and it was stated that the decision after reviewing the video stated that she was taunting the mayor. Yes, indeed. This is what I'm put up against.
Mayor Ivory, I want your honest opinion. Have you ever heard of any other newly elected mayors with similar circumstances as you've heard here today from these 2 females?
Have I heard it from any other mayor? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how widespread do you think it is?
Oh, wow. On Mayor Day, I was like the center of attraction, because when I got there, I think everybody already had heard about the things that was going on in the city of Warrenton, the accusation they had brought up against me, and other mayors came up and they were saying, like, I know what you're going through, and they went through some of the same thing. You know, I met mayors from a lot of different cities, and they was reaching out, anything that we can do that help you, we want to help, and most of them, my help is finance. You know, I need finance to get an attorney, because when I reach for help anywhere else, the first thing that come out of people's mouth is you need to get your attorney. And I think the people realize that the mayors from small cities, they don't have that funds to get an attorney to come in to help them out in that city. So we lost. We really lost out there. And I thank God for that we got together, that we networking together now, that we can help one another. Even as yourself today, you know, coming out interviewing us and talking to us about some of the things that are going on. And maybe other people get a chance to see what's going on in different other cities, because a lot of them is afraid for their life. And a lot of them is afraid that, you know, to keep these things going on, because what happened in all the other cities, no one won't talk out and tell no one, because they're afraid. They're real afraid for their life.
Madam Mayor Whipperloo, do you feel or agree with him that people are afraid to step up? I know since I'm working 11 cities, and even today, some more supposed to have been here, but I know some of them are really fearful. What's your take on that? Do you agree with the mayor?
I certainly agree with Mayor Ivy, and I'd like to say too that yes, I've networked with many of the mayors alike, the men and the women, mainly black. I've had even some whites to say that since they're particularly female, that they are having issues with their cities. But I see none like what we're experiencing. As Mayor Ivey has stated, that individually, it's like an attack on us individually. I've had to come out of my pockets too to be able to fund my personal attorney. And I was hired as mayor of the city of Gordon, not as a separate entity. And I've had my 2 council members, Mayor Pro Tem Edie and Mayor Densley, who is one of the eldest men on the council. And he's joined hands with Mayor Edie, Black and White. And they both have filed charges with me in the courts. And I've never heard of such. Your own council members?
Linda Harris, what do you feel about that? Do you agree that mayors are also living in fear?
I do. Here lately, I said that I didn't have any fear, but I do. Whenever I was up in the office my last week, being that they have these grudges and personal vendettas against me, the chief is over there, and he'll bring in some of his officers, and they have guns, you know. And if the manager is totally against what I'm trying to do, and all of them are in cahoots and on the same page, then they might be plotting up something to some kind of way to hurt me. But I don't know that, and I stay prayed up, and I do have faith, and that's what I stand on. But yeah, there have been times that I feared my life up there.
And I will add to that, yes, I'm very fearful because I don't know what to take of my chief of police and his assistants. I mean, clearly you can see if you Google the council meetings on YouTube, go to Boston G.B.R., and you can see even asking, with me directing the chief of police and maybe his assistants, or his assistants rather, to help take control of the meetings, and they sit there and look as if they don't know what to do. And I've asked them to have these people removed. I should not have to request. That's what he's being paid to do, to serve and to protect. And as a chief, an employee of the city, and as director, he can't follow orders by the CEO, then the first line would be, I've always been told that if I don't follow a directive, I'm being insubordinate. So why should I have to sit there and tolerate this type of behavior, resistance?
Now, what about the people? We haven't said much about the people and the voters. How do you all feel that the majority of the citizens are supporting you, or is it just a select few who are causing disturbance and trying to hold the city back? What's your take on that?
I'd like to say that I do have the support of the people there in the city. That's why they elected me. And of course, regardless, I know that this group of concerned citizens who are in my city, they're all white. And I'm not racist. I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying I was voted in by the people, and I'm going to be there until the decision by the voters changes.
Likewise, as Mayor Whipple said, I was elected by the people, and the people want to see a change in Warrenton, and they support me. And a lot of them want to come out to support and stick up, but they're afraid. I don't want to lose my job because, you know, someone can call in and I can lose my job. I'm here for you. And here it is again that they're there, and when I need them, they're there, you know, and I have great support. Great support.
Yes, I have phenomenal support. And there was even times when I was going through the arrest issues and had lost my job because I stepped in to volunteer to be the mayor. The citizens know that, and they know that I wasn't working, so what they did in order for me to get an attorney, they had fundraisers for me to raise money for me, an attorney, and I have their support.
Mayor Harris, do you believe there are possibly people, inmates, who don't want jobs to come in, economic development, they just want to keep it the same. Do you think that's applicable to your city, or you think that's not? That's
No,
not?
we have hard workers in our city. Unfortunately, unfortunately, there have been jobs that's taken, shut down in MEGS. MEGS don't have a bank right now. MEGS doesn't have very much revenue. Only revenue we have is from the water and the taxes and a raised millage rate. But as far as hard workers, we have hard workers in our city, and they do want work.
My question is, are people working to get business and industry in, or do you have people that don't want change? See, some of these small towns, they don't want change. That's my question to you.
Well, they've kind of got complacent because MEGS has been, we've been rejected of the grants and the funds that's come through MEGS. But with the misappropriation of funds all through the years, people, the elected officials found out, and the city administrators have found out a way to finagle money into their own accounts, and the money's going to their homes instead of to the city. And that's what I just got tired of. That's why I ran for mayor, because I saw what was happening. I attended the meetings for about 5 years, and I saw the path, the constant path that they were taking, you know, just doing what they wanted to with the city funds. And as I look at our town, it's all ran down, got dilapidated buildings, and we've had $500,000 grants come in there like 3 different times, and I can't see the results from that. I can't see any upbuilding from those grants, and that's one thing I want to step in to make sure that this grant that we got, it was going to be put to our city's use.
Mayor,
I'd like to say that's why I was elected, because the citizens wanted change. They want growth. They want businesses to come in. However, we have this select few and the ones that's got their hands in the coffer. And that's why I feel that we're having so much trouble, because they don't want this audit to come forth. They don't want the budget to be exposed, and they don't want the audit to take place. And I think with that, it's going to really show the truth as to why Gordon is still and yet remains stagnant.
And I'll be cloning what Mayor Whipple said if I say the same thing that she said, but I agree with her. And the same like in Warrenton. My campaign was people over politics. And my whole thing is the people want to change. They want to see things come. And I was at a church service, and a little young lady came up, only 6 years old, and she said, "You the mayor?" And I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Well, Mayor, why we don't have this?" And I said, "You know what? That's a great question to come and ask my council. Why do we have to go to somewhere else, another city, 9 miles down the road, play in a new park? Or, that park that we have there, been there ever since I was a kid. No change. But the revenues is coming in, but you don't see no change. Absolutely. And how can you break every year even? I can't see that. You're going to lose or you're going to gain. And as being as the mayor, we breaking even. What they saying that we breaking even. But yet, you don't show anything that we are approximate for the taxpayer money and the revenues that coming in. And also we getting grants, but where's they going? You can say they in construction, they under the ground, but I love to see something above the ground.
I can't say that we're breaking even. I can say that somebody's breaking even, but not the city, because the people are not benefiting. And two, I'm a product of the city of Gordon. I've grown up, and even for our young folk, and we don't have we have the infrastructure there for water, sewage, and everything else, but there's something else besides that. We have our precious commodities, which are our children. And we need not do, as you say, 9 miles. Ours is even further. We need empowerment centers for our youth. We need extracurricular activities, not only just sports, because there is something else besides sports. And we need these type activities for our children. I'd like to see a ballet, music instilled, and much more training skills, because college is for every child, but every student is not the college.
The Ghetto Free Press was first called to Quitman, Georgia, with James Charles Brown III. That was the first mayor that called me. The second need was in Meigs, Georgia. From Meigs, I went to, I think it was Dawson, Georgia. And in Dawson, they told me about Gordon, Georgia. And from Gordon, Georgia, they told me about Lumpkin, Georgia. And it just kept spreading. So I want each of you all, if we get ready to close this out, unless they have some more questions, what I want to ask you is that people are accusing me, the Ghetto Free Press, George Boss Ryan, they accuse me of going out being a troublemaker when I talk about the problems that exist with the newly elected black mayors and now female mayors. They say I'm a troublemaker and that this problem does not exist. What is your reply to those people who say that to the Ghetto Free Press and George Boston Ryan?
Mine is input on that we thank God for you, that other people can get a chance to see some of the things that happen in different other cities. Yeah, anytime you start showing people up, you're going to always be a troublemaker. And I guess that's why I'm the troublemaker in Warrenton, because I wanted you to be accountable for what's going on. And I thank God that you did, because I met some of those same mayors, and like I said earlier, I met those mayors and they was telling about the problems they were having, and everybody's having the same problem. And with all the new elected mayor. And I think the people is ready for a change. And we thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And to add to that, a very good question, to say that, yes, you are a troublemaker. Anytime trouble is exposed, the truth. Because I find that with all the other media, it's very biased. And you have brought nothing but the truth. You've asked the questions, you've kept it real, and the people need to know. And the only way you will be free is by knowing the truth. And the truth in the city of Gordon is now being exposed. And we thank you very much. Keep up the great work of being the troublemaker that you are.
A good troublemaker for us. I would like to thank you for coming out and coming to Meigs, being interested in the problem that I was having in Meigs. They fear you because they know that they're doing the wrong thing. They're making up policies, and they don't want to be called out. And I had one, actually our chief of police, he says to me, why would you want somebody to come and represent you, film you, when the name is Ghetto Press? I said, how are you going to hold me responsible for that man's name? I said, he didn't just start doing this. He's been doing this for a long time. So, like I said, keep coming.
Thank you very much. You have a question?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned the media, Mayor Lou, because I know that it was stated in the Wilkinson County newspaper that you misappropriated funds, that you took money from the Georgia One Fund. Did you do that legally?
Yes, with everything, I'm very transparent. I stand on the grounds of integrity, and as I stated, and I submitted to the attorney with the open request that I made contact with the Treasury Department for the Georgia Fund One. I was directed that, yes, my name is on the resolution. Therefore, I made an administrative move to remove the money simply based on the fact that the city attorney, the clerk, has been saying that we are broke and did not have money to meet payroll. And prior to my finding that out, it had already been gone to the Wilkinson County Post, written by Judy Bailey, that we would not be able to make payroll. So what I did, being that the tax revenue was coming in, I went to the tax commissioner's office, picked up the check to cover payroll, and that was met. And yes, I was authorized, because I have the authority to move the $150,000 without council's approval. That was an administrative move. And prior to my coming in, well, mainly $2-point-something million was already there. And Councilman Edie had requested previously, we had Councilman Terry Reese as the finance chair, who had sat on council for nearly 18.5 years, had never signed a check, and they removed nearly $2-point-something million without his authority and the council's approval. So now that I know that that's transpired, then all of a sudden he wants to close out that particular account. So tell me, where is the balance?
Linda Harris, I'm sorry, y'all, excuse me. I thought I had finished, but because this came up Friday last week, February the 6th, I think it was. Approximately how many pages does your minutes consist of?
Our minutes, 2 to 3. Sometimes it's 1.
Okay. Mayor,
just basic 1.
I'm talking the minutes.
Yes, sir.
1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mayor Whipperloo, how many pages are you on?
We've had a book written, pages from about maybe 63 pages, and sometimes they've gone down maybe 24, 25. But previously, in the previous administration, there were no more than 4 to 5 pages in the council meeting minutes.
So, mayors, do you feel like your administration are working with you or against you in getting work done for the city? Meaning the city, including the city attorneys?
I'll address that first. I feel that they're working against me because, number one, I'm not getting all the paperwork, number one. And when I do ask the city attorney that, she says she cannot help me at the time. I have to get my own attorney. So I feel that my administrator is working against me. And even when I ask them something, I don't get my paperwork and maybe 2 days later.
It's a clone. We experienced the same. The clerk, since my being the mayor, has absolutely simply refused and said that she was advised by her attorney not to give me any information. And I asked her, Clerk Brown, who is your attorney? She said, City Attorney Joey Boone. I said, well, he's not your attorney. At that time, before his removal from city attorney, I said, he is the city attorney. He does not work for you. He does not work. He works for the city. And so therefore he cannot work for you and to direct you what to do. So, but better yet, he's proven that he's not working with me. He's only worked against me, as well as the rest of the staff. Thank you.
Wait a minute. When you say rest of the staff, what do you mean rest of the staff?
The chief of police.
Okay.
Not all, but I'm just saying the ones in key positions.
Thank you.
Well, you know mine are not working with me when they lock me out, so they don't even want me in there. But anyway, they're not working with me at all. The city attorney is not working with me. I can call him, and majority of the time he will not call me back.
So, in your respective cities, is there a budget that allows for a personal assistant? Just curious.
Well, mine have given me the leeway, but to have an assistant. But thanks be to Judge Robert Reeves, who's stated that I cannot hire a fire in his ruling.
Okay, thank you. And also, if you have information of where people can go to contribute to your respective funds, to contribute for lawyer fees and etc.
Linda Harris first. Mayor Harris.
Well, we need to have somewhere that people can go and contribute, because we really need this. In order for the city to run, there should be something set up, because if our residents want us there to make a change, we need support financially.
So do you have a personal funding account for yourself to help you in support of your lawyer fees for yourself personally?
No.
Like GoFundMe or anything?
No.
Okay.
Mayor?
I, as mayor of the city of Gordon, do have a legal defense fund set up. You can contribute to Mayor Whipperloo and mail it to P.O. Box 32, Gordon, Georgia, 31031, or you can go GoFundMe account. Thank you.
And no, we do not have one set up, but it would be great to have one set up for the city. That when the citizens come and they have some issues going on, they need someone there that be able to help them along the way.
Well, I can say on that part, I guess my monies don't need to go up there, but it'll go to the general fund and go to salaries, so that it wouldn't help me anyway if I'm not there to manage it.
Okay, on behalf of the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boss Rams, I've been doing it for a long time. we're going to bring this to a close. I want to thank you all for stepping up to the plate. There have been other people that are afraid to come forward. I thank you for your courage. Mayor Warren and I came through your city. I filmed through your city and I posted on the internet. I've been to your city, Mayor Whipple, and having quite a few videos, same way with Megs and some others. But I want to thank you for coming, and I thank you for being here and not afraid to speak. But above all, I want you to close with remarks to the NAACP, G.B.R, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the women's group, who I feel possibly could do more. My response is, what will you say to these civil rights organizations and these women rights organizations that probably could come in and help shed light on your situation? Start with you, Linda Harris, first. What do you say to these organizations as we close?
Well, I would like to ask them to get more involved. If you know that there's a problem that has arose, just call us and ask, how can we help y'all? Because at this point, we don't know who all are willing to help. But as they see, we are yearning for financial support, emotional support, and we just need to network with them, and so we can resolve these issues that we're having.
Okay, can you give your phone number and possibly your email address, just in case somebody see this and they want to call you directly? It may be Victor Blackwell from CNN. It may be some 60 Minutes. It may be 48 Hours, because this is dealing with the heartbeat of the Department of Justice under civil rights, and we got a civil rights division there in the Department of Justice. So give us your phone number and your email address.
Okay, and again, my name is Linda Easton Harris. I'm the mayor of the city of Meigs. My telephone number is 229-221-8381. My email address is lindamassage@yahoo.com. That's LINDAMASSAGE@yahoo.com.
Mayor Whipple, same question.
Yes, I've had several, such as G.B.R, assist me. I think I'm very, very thankful for them. Operation Push, Ms. Mathis, and I can say I've gone up to the People's Agenda at SCLC and numerous amounts of the organizations. But what I most desperately need and would appreciate is monetary, financial support. And you can reach me by Mary Whipple-Lou, Mayor Mary Whipple-Lou, once more again, P.O. Box 32, Gordon, Georgia, 31031, and email me at marywhipplelou@gmail.com or mawharris@windstream.net, telephone 478-628-1170 or 478-335-6288.
Yes, Mayor George, I live in Warrenton, Georgia, and one of the things I would love for them to come out and investigate, and find out what's really going on in the small cities. And there's so many people out here. We really need help, and we don't know which way to go. And when we do reach out for help, it's always been a finance. It's been a finance, and we are struggling in these small cities, and we do count. We do count as people in this area. So if you would love to help us out, you can give me a call on area code 706-465-3282. And you can email as georgeivy2013@yahoo.com.
And may I add to that, we do have a life outside of being mayors of the cities.
Yes.
We have other responsibilities too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just keeping it
Thank you
real.
very much.
Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I want to thank my beautiful sister. What's your name?
Christy Woolen.
And what's your name, my beautiful?
Tracy.
We also have, what's your name, baby?
Lou.
All right, I just want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you all for being a part of the mix, kind of rotating, elevating, and hopefully somebody can elevate our way and we can get the job done.
Indeed.
By representing this republic as the founding fathers of this great nation so established the rights to freedom of press, freedom of speech, a religion, and the right to be elected to public office without any confusion or headaches as they are experiencing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Literally, yes.
that's right.
She's
Come on, dear. Mary, are you going to join us?
Let's pray. Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come right now, Lord. Just thank you, Lord, for giving us this opportunity. Lord, we pray right now, Lord, that you hear our prayer, Heavenly Father, that we know that you already will. You will do all things you say you will do. Yes. And Lord, we thank you, Lord, for the protection right now for these ladies and men. We fight for our people, Heavenly Father. Yes. Lord, for the justice and the rightness for our city. We pray right now, Lord, you continue to bless each and every one of these mayors, Heavenly Father, the fight that they're going through. Let them know, Lord, that you'll be there every step of the way with them, Heavenly Father. We pray, Lord, for this man of God, Heavenly Father, that he come out to help us out, Heavenly Father, enjoy Buster around. We pray for him, Lord, and we ask you to give him more power and strength to keep on that journey, Heavenly Father. Even when it's been threatened and been talked about, Heavenly Father, we ask you to give him a mind to stay focused on you, knowing that things are going to be all right. Bless each and every one of our home that we come from right now, Lord. Give us traveling grace backing up and down the dangerous highway. Until we meet again, Heavenly Father, we give you all the praise and we give you all the glory. And we just thank you, Lord, for this event. In Jesus Christ's name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. And it is so. And we coming back, we coming for a meal. You want to bring Sister Linda up your way. He knows how to do it.
And
I look forward to
another
it.
suggestion, just to get together with the other mayors, to make it more convenient to
I don't even think I have a coat in the car. George, thanks George for everything you're doing. I'm gonna melt.